Hey, friends! This time we're taking a look at an odd little subgenre of Christmas movies, namely Runaway Reindeer. That's right. Stories about reindeer who, for one reason or another, get separated from Santa and have to make it back home. The most famous runaway reindeer, of course, is this one, Rudolph. He and his friend are misfits and decide to run away from Santa, and through a series of adventures, realize they should have just punched some people in the face instead. So they go home just in time to help save Christmas. But there are other runaway reindeer. So let's take a look, shall we? First, we have Prancer from 1989. This little girl is sad. Her mom died and her dad is kinda distant and busy working hard to keep their apple farm. But things are not going well. The dad may have to sell the farm and may have to send his daughter to live with her Aunt Sarah, something she doesn't want to do. The dad doesn't understand her and thinks she's spacey and needs some discipline. Then one day she meets a reindeer and assumes it's Prancer, one of Santa's reindeer. Prancer seems tame, but has been injured by some hunters. Jessica, the little girl, saves the reindeer and hides him until she can somehow get him back to Santa. I really liked this one, but I can see why it maybe didn't do so well. While there are moments of humor, the movie has an odd downbeat tone throughout, but I saw that as a strength since it reflects what's going on between the dad and the little girl. And I really liked how the filmmakers keep you guessing as to whether or not Prancer really is one of Santa's reindeer or not. Sam Elliott is excellent here as the hard-working single dad under pressure, the farmer trying to make it and getting more and more frustrated. Rebecca Harold Tickell plays Jessica, and she's really good. She hasn't done much more, sadly. She carries this thing and is very believable. Cloris Leachman plays a crazy cat lady minus the cats. Abe Vigoda plays a cranky veterinarian, and Michael Constantine plays a shopping mall Santa. Helming the picture was John D. Hancock. In the 1970s, he directed Let's Scare Jessica to Death, Bang the Drum Slowly, and California Dreamin'. He also directed several episodes of the 1980s Twilight Zone revival. So all around, this picture had a lot going for it. Is Prancer really Prancer or just a tame reindeer? They kinda tell you at the end, which is too bad. I'd have preferred the original idea, which was to leave it completely ambiguous. Even so, really good picture and well worth a watch just for Sam Elliott's performance, if nothing else. As it is, Prancer has much more going for it besides that. Unlike our next movie, Blizzard from 2003. In this one, a little girl hears the tale of Blizzard, a precocious reindeer who saves the day. It starts out with these two kids, and one is moving away. The little girl is sad about it, so the mom calls in the girl's favorite aunt, who relates a tale calculated to teach the kid about friendship, or whatever. Said tale involves a talking reindeer, and it goes like this. One night at the North Pole, Blizzard is born. She's a weird little reindeer, but Santa is cool with it. Looks like the mom had sex with a cow, if you ask me. I guess not, since later Blizzard turns into a more or less regular-looking reindeer, but still with the stupid hairdo. Meanwhile, this little girl has a case of the sads. She discovers figure skating, but the dad is laid off, and because they're poor, they have to move to the city. She struggles to make friends, has a rivalry with a bitchy princess type, and eventually makes an empathic bond with Blizzard, who helps her out, even though this is against the rules of Santa Town. Now, it turns out that Blizzard has these so-called reindeer gifts. One is being able to fly, pretty common. Another is turning invisible, and the third is the power to connect to kids empathically. Both of those are kinda rare. And of course, Strong Reindeer Whammon here has all three gifts and is better at everything than the boy reindeer. Plus, except for Santa, the skating coach, and the skater's dad, maybe, all of the men are depicted as either overbearing, bossy rule makers like Santa's administrator, Archimedes, or openly abusive like the rival skater girl's dad. Or just kinda dumb, soy, and subservient like the sad girl's dad or the elf who helps out. You'd think this was made within the last 5 years, huh? Ugh. But unlike things made in the last 5 years, this one isn't quite as overbearing about it. Still glares a bit, though. So, this movie has 3 separate stories going on simultaneously, which I feel is the big problem with it. First, we have the modern-day story where the little girl is doing the boo-hoo samba. The wacky aunt comes to stay for Christmas and tells her the tale of the girl in, I don't know whatever this is, the 1940s, the 1950s, they don't say. Anyway, what we'll call the retro story, the second one. In this, the little girl wants to learn figure skating as a way to find her inner strength and express herself and blossom, and all of that crap. And she meets and forms a bond with Blizzard the reindeer. Third is everything happening at the North Pole, with Archimedes being a jerk, and the reindeer and elves and all of that. Now, they could have totally ditched the modern-day story altogether, and it would have made for a better movie. Or they could have just made a magic-talking reindeer movie for kids about the stuff at the North Pole, which would have been fine. Or they could have made a straight movie out of the retro story with no reindeer or anything, since that story really is the heart of the thing and the best part overall. But instead, they mashed all 3 together, which serves none of them. In our cast, we have Christopher Plummer as Santa and Whoopi Goldberg voices Blizzard. LeVar Burton directed the movie and cameos as a night watchman in Santa Town. Burton and Goldberg, of course, both starred in Star Trek: The Next Generation. You know, back when Star Trek was still good. But this raises a question. Why does Santa need a night watchman? Remember, all of the people we see in Santa's village are supposed to be elves. So, do elves go bad and steal stuff? Why? But apparently they do, since they have a rule specifically against taking a toy. And how is it Blizzard has all 3 reindeer gifts? Come on. According to the movie, one of the 3 gifts is very rare and only shows up in the Donner line of reindeer. So, I guess Blizzard's mom was screwing around with Donner, huh? Guess the paddock looked a little greener over there, maybe. I don't know. I'm just a dog asking questions. Anyway, we don't see Blizzard's parents again, so I assume they got a divorce or something because she was a total tramp. This one has some good moments. I liked all of the stuff with the skater girl. Kevin Pollak is suitably menacing as the bad guy who's not really a bad guy, Archimedes, and Plummer is interesting as Santa. It's got some feminist cringe in it, though. That can't be denied. It's definitely there, and sadly, it sullies the proceedings. Finally, we have an offering from Sweden. 2013's A Christmoose Story. Okay, I know. It's about a moose, but Runaway Reindeer. There's not a lot of meat on this bone, okay? Work with me here. A Christmoose Story is based on a novel by Andreas Steinhoffel. In this one, a little boy is sad because his dad divorced his mom and shacked up with a new chick. So it's a single mom household. One night, a moose crashes through the roof of the kid's man shed, and lo and behold, this moose can talk. Turns out he works for Santa, and they had an accident when the sleigh they were testing had a problem, and they crashed. Santa is miles and miles away, trying to get to this moose so they can go home and get everything ready in time for Christmas. Santa, by the way, is not exactly a jolly person. He's pretty grumpy throughout. The kid has to help the moose and Santa and save the day. His precocious little sister helps out, as does the mom and the grandma. She's fun, a real hot pistol. Well, they also have this gun-crazy next-door neighbor who wants to shoot the moose, and that adds to their troubles. It's all pretty fun, and I found a Christmoose Story to be a pleasant surprise. Adding to the quality is that this was shot in Lapland, so they have real snow. Part of the fun here is that the dubbing is on a par with a cheesy kung fu picture. I think you'll enjoy this. If you want something different, give this one a try. There's nothing really nasty in it, and kids can watch just fine. Runaway Reindeer, who'd guess? I'll see you in the next one. Reindeer. I don't know. I just don't know.